Hello everybody, this is Mrs Hill with the second week of your non-chronological reports literacy lessons. So it's Monday the 8th of February. So we're just going to talk through the top sheet like we always do. So we are going to be writing a non-chronological report about keeping safe at sea for all the children within Key Stage 1, and that's to help children to understand how to be safe at the seaside. We're going to make sure we've got capital letters, finger spaces, full stops, question marks. We're going to include a title, subheadings. We're definitely going to be working on using conjunctions in our writing. There'll be a label diagram, facts, and perhaps question words too. Right, let's move on to the next slide. So I'm going to move myself down here to the different corner. This is where we are going to practice our spellings again as per normal. I've chosen pyramid writing and I've also put rainbow words in for you to do today. If you want to have a go at doing your silly sentences as well, then that's absolutely fine. These are all words taken from the Year 2 Common Exception word list. So these are words that by the end of the year you should be able to spell on your own. So I'm going to read them for you and then you can pause the video and have a go at practicing your spellings. So we've got every, great, break, stake and pretty. If I move the boxes, you might want to pause with the pyramids down so that you can see them. So you can pause now, or I'll put them all back, hide them again, and you can have a go at writing them on your own. So let me put them all back in the right place. That one just needs to be realigned. There you go, the words are all hidden now. So pause here and have a go at practicing your spellings. Okay, I hope you enjoyed your spelling practice. So now we are going to be thinking about the features at the very start of our non-chronological reports. So this was the model text that we had, where we've got a non-chronological report about blue whales. That's our heading. And then our subheading is introduction. And I'm going to read you our introduction that we wrote for that bit. So it says, in this report, you will learn all about blue whales. Blue whales are the largest creatures on Earth. They are mammals which live in water at all times. Blue whales are now a protected species as they have been hunted for many years by man. Did you know that you could sail the oceans for a year and never see a blue whale? And that's a question. And just putting a question in that beginning bit of your introduction just kind of like helps to hook your reader in a little bit. Right, let's move to the next part. So, this is the plan for our non-chronological report writing, and I've also included the success criteria here because I think it's important that you see that at the beginning of our writing journey. So our non-chron is going to bring together all of the learning that we've done this term. We're going to write about the following sections. So we're going to have an introduction, we're going to have a paragraph about lighthouses, one about the RNLI, and one about keeping safe on the beach. We are going to include label diagrams and a facts box too. You might want to challenge yourself and also include a glossary. That was one of the challenges later on in the week. So if I'll just add that one in there and we can write glossary. Oh, I can't spell it, glossary. Okay, now I've got a little video clip which is for Key Stage 1 and Key Stage 2 to just explain a little bit about a non-chronological report. I thought sometimes it's quite helpful to just see a different person explaining it to you. So just bear with me because I need to pause and open the new screen.
Hi, I'm Sonali Shah and I'm a journalist who covers sport, and my job is to present information to an audience in a clear and effective way. Today, I'll be writing a non-chronological report. Basically, I'm telling a factual story, but I don't have to write it in the order in which things happened. Instead, I can arrange the information in a way that will be more interesting to the reader. That's why it's called non-chronological writing. When you're writing a report, it's always good to have a structure, a plan. We'll begin with the title, then comes the introduction. Then I'll need to think about the main paragraphs. And I can finish things off with a summary. Now I've got a plan which will help me as I write the report. So first things first, what am I going to call my report? I need a catchy title, something that's really going to grab the audience's attention. You want them to read the title and want them to want more information. Now, my story is about the medical tests that footballers have during the transfer window. So I'm going to keep it really simple and go with a question as my title. What happens in a football medical? Now I need to write an introduction, and this should explain what the story is. Here goes. A deal's been done subject to a medical. These are the words we hear throughout the Premier League transfer window. The fees have been agreed and the personal terms have been sorted. Now it's time for the final hurdle in negotiations, a player's medical examination. There, after a few drafts, I've finished my introduction. Now, when you're writing, it's always good to have a few goes at it to make sure it's just right. Now it's time to write my main paragraphs. Now, these will be the biggest part of my report, which means I need something to help me write it. Content, which needs to be detailed and informative. I need facts for my report, and you can get facts from a range of resources. The internet is the most obvious resource, but it's also good to talk to people. I went to interview people that knew more about football transfers than I did. Newspapers are also a good resource. I'm confident my research is correct and the best I can find, so it's time to write my paragraphs. Now, most of your report will be written in the present tense, so you'll be using words like is, does, or has. But if something has happened in the past, use the past tense with words like was, did, or had. Now, remember, this is a non-chronological report, which means you don't have to write things in the order in which they happened. So for my story, I don't need to say a footballer came through the door, then had his medical test, and then he left. The medical test is the most important thing in the story, so I can actually start with it. Always think about your audience, who they are, what age they are. So if you're writing for CBBC's Newsround, you can use a different language than if you were writing for BBC Sport Online, which your mums and dads would be reading. Now, my report is almost finished. There's just the summary left to write, and the summary should bring together all the key points that have been written in the main report. When you've finished writing your report, it's wise to reread your paragraphs to check for spelling or grammar mistakes. This is known as proofreading. Even the best journalists can make mistakes, so it's important to double check your spelling, your punctuation, your grammar. Do your sentences make sense? The easiest way to double or triple check is by reading your whole report out aloud. Don't worry about the funny looks. It's more important to get it right. Now, I'm happy with my report, so all I need to do is press send.
Okay, let me just pause again and come back to our flip. Okay, I hope you did enjoy her little take on writing report. I thought it was really helpful that she did explain about the editing process and just how important it is to read your work out loud. And that goes for all of us, even when we're doing our work, the teachers, we read it back aloud. And actually, look, I just added in that little bit about putting a glossary in if you wanted as we were going through. So it is a really, really important part of the writing process. Right, so we're going to have a go at writing the introduction. So I've actually written that for you here. So here is our title, which is going to be Staying Safe at the Seaside. Then we need the subheading Introduction. And we're just going to explain a little bit about what our non-chronological report is about. So I've written this. In this report, you will learn about how to protect yourself and others when you are at the seaside. So it's quite a general sentence and it's just telling you what the information is going to be. You may have noticed lighthouses when you've been on coastal walks, but do you know how they work and how they protect ships at sea? If you become in trouble at the sea, who would you contact for help? So I've got 2 questions there to keep the reader interested and want to find out and read a little bit more through our report. So let's move on. So we're also today going to have a go at doing some of the research that we're going to need to write the report to. So we've got a lot of prior knowledge because this is about all of the information we've learned so far this term. So this is just a little planning tool I made. So our title is Staying Safe at the Seaside. We're going to have the introduction paragraph. one paragraph about the RNLI, one about lighthouses, and then one about on the beach. So let me explain your tasks for today. So the first job I would like you all to do is to write the introduction to your non-chronological reports. So I would suggest you start with your title. So let's go back so that we remember what our title is. There it is. It's Staying Safe at the Seaside. So we're going to write that. We're going to write staying, oops, sorry. That's our title. And then underneath, we're going to need an introduction. And then I suggest you start your introduction with, in this report, you will learn all about, and then you carry it on and you explain what we're going to learn about. So remember, we're learning about lighthouses, we're learning about the RNLI, and we're learning about how to keep safe at the beach. Oh, I've made a mistake. Look, I've just reread. I've not spelt staying properly. Let's change that. It needs to have a G at the end. Staying safe at the seaside. And remember, if you put a question, that will help to keep your reader interested. Now, on the second job for you all is to have a go at carrying out some research for you to then be able to write your different paragraphs. So I've got some suggested websites and I'm going to list all of these. I might put them straight onto Dojo, or I'll put them at the end of our timetable for this week. So if you Google the RNLI, there is plenty of information on their website all about their organisation. And also we had that the Zoom talk. So you might be able to use some of the things that you learned from that. So that's a really useful website to use. Lighthouses. I got really excited when I was doing my research to write the non-chronological reports. There's a charity called Trinity House who look after all of the lighthouses around the UK. So their website has lots of information and tells you specifics about many lighthouses. I then found a Maddie science clip about how a lighthouse works, which I've watched quite a few times. So you might all enjoy that one. And then for On the Beach, there's a CBBC programme about staying safe at the beach. And also one section of the RNLI website has got information all about beach safety too. So lots of places to gather your research. What I suggest you do is that you just write the headings and you just make some notes. You're trying to gather maybe 4 or 5 facts about each of these things in order for you to then use them later on in the week to then write your non-chronological reports. Okay, happy researching, and I look forward to reading your introductions on Dojo. Take care.